Let me ask you something. What if I told you that some of the most financially devastated retirees I've ever seen weren't people who gambled their money in risky stocks? They weren't people who made wild speculations or chased get rich quick schemes. They were people who did everything right. They saved consistently for decades. They moved their money into conservative accounts as retirement got closer. They avoided the roller coaster of the stock market. They played it safe. And they still ran out of money. Now, how does that happen? How does someone who did all the right things end up in financial trouble in retirement? The answer is this: there is more than one way to lose in retirement. And the risks that most people have never heard of, the ones hiding inside what looks like a safe portfolio, those are the most dangerous ones of all. Because you can't protect yourself from a risk you don't know exists. My name is Shonda Prescott, and welcome to Retirement Security Simplified, the channel where we cut through the noise and give you clear, straightforward answers about how to protect your retirement income. Today, we're pulling back the curtain on 5 hidden risks that are quietly threatening portfolios that look completely safe on the surface. And at the end, I'm going to show you a framework for building a retirement plan that's actually safe, not just on paper, but in real life. Let's get into it. Before we talk about the risks, we need to get clear on one thing. What does safe actually mean when it comes to retirement? For most people, safe means one thing: not losing money in the stock market. That's it. If my account balance doesn't drop, I'm safe. If I'm not in volatile investments, I'm safe. And I completely understand why people think that way. We've all watched the market crash and recover, crash and recover. It's stressful. It's scary, especially when you're close to retirement and you don't have 30 years to wait for a recovery. But here's what most people don't realize. In retirement, there are at least 5 different ways your financial plan can fail, and market volatility is just one of them. The other 4, most people have never even considered them. And because they haven't considered them, they have zero protection against them. Think of it this way. Imagine you're getting ready to go on a long road trip. You check your tires, great. You fill up the gas tank, perfect. But you don't check the oil. You don't check the brakes. You don't look at the weather forecast. You feel ready because you did the things you knew to do. But the risks you didn't check for, those are the ones that leave you stranded on the side of the road. That's exactly what's happening with millions of retirement portfolios right now. They've been protected against one risk, market loss, but left completely exposed to 4 others. Let's go through each one. Hidden risk number 1 is inflation erosion. And this one is sneaky because it doesn't happen all at once. It happens slowly, quietly, every single day, until one day you look up and realize your money just doesn't go as far as it used to. Here's a simple way to think about it. Let's say you retire today and your monthly expenses are $4,000 a month. Groceries, utilities, insurance, prescriptions, the occasional dinner out. $4,000 covers your life comfortably. Now, let's assume a modest average inflation rate of just 3% per year. Nothing dramatic. That's actually been close to the historical average. In 10 years, that same lifestyle, the exact same groceries, the same utilities, the same prescriptions, is going to cost you roughly $5,375 a month. In 20 years, over $7,200 a month. And if you live into your late 80s or 90s, which a lot of people do today, you could be looking at needing nearly $10,000 a month just to maintain the lifestyle you're living right now. Now, here's the problem. If your money is sitting in a savings account, a CD, or a money market fund earning 2 or 3%, or sometimes less, your interest isn't keeping up with inflation. You're not even breaking even. You're falling behind every single year. And here's the part that really stings. Social Security does have something that's called a cost of living adjustment, COLA. That's designed to help with this. But research has consistently shown that the COLA calculation doesn't accurately reflect the way retirees actually spend money. Retirees spend a much higher percentage of their income on healthcare and housing, two of the fastest rising costs in the entire economy. So even your Social Security income is quietly losing purchasing power over time. A safe account that earns less than inflation isn't protecting your money, it's allowing it to be slowly drained. That's hidden risk number one. Hidden risk number two is one that very few people have ever heard of, but it might be the single most dangerous risk in retirement planning. It's called sequence of returns risk. And once you understand it, you'll never look at your portfolio the same again. Here's what it means. Most people assume that what matters in retirement is the average return their portfolio earns over time. If my portfolio averages 6 or 7% over 20 years, I should be fine, right? Not necessarily. Because in retirement, the order in which your returns happen matters just as much, and sometimes more, than the average itself. Let me show you what I mean with two people. Let's call them Robert and Sandra. They both retire at the same age with the same amount of money, $500,000. They're both invested in moderate, balanced portfolio. They both take out $2,500 a month to live on. And over 20 years, they both earn the exact same average annual return. The only difference is the timing of their good years and bad years. Robert retires in a year when the market performs well. His first several years of retirement are positive. His portfolio grows before he takes too many withdrawals from it. Sandra retires in a year when the market drops, say 15 or 20% in year 1 or 2. While her portfolio is down, she still needs that $2,500 a month. So she's selling assets at the worst possible time, when prices are low. She's locking in those losses permanently. Even when the market recovers for Sandra, she has fewer shares left to recover with. The damage from those early withdrawals during a down market is permanent and compounding. 20 years later, Robert still has money in his account. Sandra ran out years ago. Same average return, same amount saved, same withdrawal amount, completely different outcomes because of the sequence of when the returns happen. This is why a market drop at age 63 is a financial emergency, but the same drop at age 43 is a buying opportunity. At 43, you're adding money to your portfolio. At 63, you're taking money out. That changes everything. And here's the part that should concern you. Many so-called conservative or balanced portfolios still carry enough exposure to market swings to trigger this exact scenario. If your portfolio has any meaningful equity position, sequence of returns risk is real for you. Hidden risk number 3 is the one most people actually think is a good problem to have, until they realize the financial implications. It's longevity risk. The risk of living longer than your money lasts. Now, living a long life is a blessing. I think we all agree on that. But it does create a very real financial challenge that we have to plan for, honestly. Here's the reality. According to Social Security Administration data, a 65-year-old man can expect to live on average into his mid 80s, a 65-year-old woman into her late 80s. And for a married couple, both age 65, there's approximately a 50% chance that at least one spouse will live past the age of 90, 90 years old. Now, think about this. If you retire at 65 and live to 92, you need your retirement plan to last 27 years. Many of the retirement plans I see are designed around a 20-year horizon. That's a 7-year gap, and 7 years of retirement income is not a small problem. Running out of money at 85 is not a situation you can recover from. You can't go back to work the way you could at 45. Your health may not allow it. Your industry may have moved on, and the emotional toll of financial stress in your 80s is something no one should have to experience. The deeper issue here is this. Most people focus on building a big account balance by retirement, but a big balance is not the same as guaranteed lifetime income. An account balance can be depleted. Guaranteed income cannot. That shift from thinking about your balance to thinking about your income is one of the most important mindset changes in retirement planning, and it's a big part of what we talk about on this channel. Hidden risk number 4 is the one that surprises people the most, especially people who feel like they've been disciplined and responsible savers. It's tax risk, and it catches people completely off guard. Here's why. The majority of Americans who have been saving for retirement have done so in tax-deferred accounts, your 401k, your traditional IRA, if you're a federal employee, your thrift savings plan, your TSP. These accounts have incredible advantages while you're accumulating money. Every dollar you contribute reduces taxable income today, and the growth inside the account is tax-free while it sits there. But here's what that arrangement really means. The IRS is a silent partner in your retirement account. That money has never been taxed, and the government has been very patient, but they're going to want to collect. It's not a matter of if, it's a matter of when and how much. The mechanism for that collection is called Required Minimum Distributions, RMDs. Starting at age 73, the IRS requires you to begin withdrawing a minimum amount from your tax-deferred accounts every year, whether you need the money or not. And that withdrawal is 100% taxable as ordinary income. Here's where it gets dangerous. Let's say you have $800,000 in your IRA. Your RMD could easily be $30,000 to $40,000 a year, just from that one account. Stack that on top of your Social Security income, maybe a pension or part-time income, and suddenly your total income is significantly higher than you expected in retirement. That could push you into a higher tax bracket than when you were working. And it triggers something called the tax torpedo. When your income rises above certain thresholds, up to 85% of your Social Security benefits become taxable. So now your RMD is not only being taxed, it's causing more of your Social Security to be taxed at the same time. One income source is creating a tax problem for another. That's the torpedo effect. But wait, there's more. This is where Medicare comes in. Most people don't know this, but Medicare Part B and Part D premiums are not a fixed cost. They're based on your income from 2 years prior. If your income in retirement exceeds certain thresholds, and RMDs can easily push you there, you get hit with what's called IRMA, Income Related Monthly Adjustment Amount. In practical terms, that means a married couple could pay hundreds of dollars more per month for the exact same Medicare coverage that their neighbor with lower income pays the standard rate for. And because Medicare looks back 2 years, A large RMD today could cost you significantly more in Medicare premiums in the future. You may think you have $700,000 or $800,000 saved for retirement, but after taxes on your distributions and after IRMA surcharges on your Medicare, your real spendable income could be meaningful less than you planned for. This is tax risk, and it's hiding in the retirement accounts that most people consider the cornerstone of their financial plan. Hidden risk number 5 is the one that caught a lot of people completely by surprise just a few years ago. It's interest rate risk and reinvestment risk, and they are two sides of the same coin. Here's how interest rate risk works. Many retirees put significant portions of their savings into bonds or bond funds because bonds are considered conservative and stable, and in many environments they are. But bonds have an inverse relationship with interest rates. When interest rates rise, existing bond prices fall. We saw this play out in a very painful way in 2022. In a single year, the U.S. bond market experienced one of its worst performances in modern history. People who had moved their retirement savings into bonds specifically to be safe watched their account values drop dramatically. Not because of anything they did wrong, but because of how bonds work when rates rise rapidly. If you were drawing income from that portfolio in 2022, you were experiencing both a drop in value and forced to sell at a loss to fund your lifestyle. That's a double hit. Now here's the other side, reinvestment risk. Let's say instead of bonds, you chose CDs. Smart move in some environments, but CDs are short term. They mature, and when they mature, you have to reinvest that money at whatever the current rate happens to be. Think about the decade between roughly 2010 and 2020. Interest rates were near historic lows for years. If your CD matured during that window and you rolled it over, you may have been locking in rates of 1% or less. Your safe money was barely growing at all while inflation continued doing what inflation does. The bottom line is this: instruments that feel safe can still expose you to significant risk, just a different kind of risk than stock market volatility. The risk is quieter, slower, and harder to see, but the impact on your retirement is just as real. All right, so we walked through 5 hidden risks: inflation, sequence of returns, longevity, taxes, and interest rate risk. And I want to be clear, I'm not sharing these to scare you. I'm sharing them because understanding a risk is the first step to eliminating it. So what does a truly safe retirement plan look like? It starts with one fundamental shift in thinking. Stop building a pile of money. Start building streams of income. The most resilient retirement plans I've seen are built in layers. 3 layers specifically. Layer 1 is your income floor. This is the guaranteed income that covers your essential monthly expenses no matter what. No matter what the market does, no matter what interest rates do, no matter how long you live. The income never runs out, never drops, and never keeps you up at night. The primary source of floor income for most Americans is Social Security. And one of the most powerful things you can do is maximize it through smart claiming strategies. Delaying your Social Security benefit to age 70 can increase your monthly payment by as much as 32% compared to claiming at full retirement age. Delaying your Social Security benefit to age 70 can increase your monthly payment by 24 to 32% compared to claiming at your full retirement age, depending on what your full retirement age is. That is a permanent inflation-adjusted guaranteed raise for the rest of your life. For some people, a fixed indexed annuity with a guaranteed lifetime income rider can serve as a powerful addition to this income floor, providing protected growth and income you cannot outlive regardless of market conditions. Layer 2 is your growth layer. This is the money working to outpace inflation over time. It's not taking reckless risk. It's not sitting still either. This layer gives your overall plan the fuel to maintain your purchasing power across a 20 or 30-year retirement. Layer 3 is your liquidity layer. This is accessible cash, your emergency fund, the money you can reach without penalty for unexpected expenses, opportunities, or healthcare needs. This layer keeps you from having to touch your growth assets at the wrong time, which, as we talked about with sequence of return risk, can be devastating. Now, I want to come back to fixed indexed annuities for just a moment because they are uniquely positioned to address several of these hidden risks at once. Your principal is protected from market losses, addressing sequence of returns risk. The index growth component can help you stay ahead of inflation. The guaranteed lifetime income rider directly solves the longevity problem. And because annuities grow tax deferred, they can be part of a smart strategy to manage RMDs and reduce your overall tax burden in retirement. No single financial tool is perfect for everyone, but understanding which tools address which risks, that's what separates a retirement plan that holds up from the one that quietly falls apart. Let me bring this home. We talked about 5 risks today that are hiding inside portfolios that look completely safe on the surface. Inflation erosion that quietly shrinks your purchasing power. Sequence of returns risk that can permanently damage your portfolio if the timing is wrong. Longevity risk, the real risk of possibly outliving your money. Tax risk through RMDs, the tax torpedo, and IRMA surcharges on your Medicare premiums. And interest rate risk and reinvestment risk hiding inside bonds and CDs. None of these risks care how hard you worked to save your money. None of them care how responsible you've been. They operate silently in the background until they don't. The good news is that every single one of these risks can be planned for. You can build a retirement income strategy that protects you against all 5. A strategy that gives you guaranteed income you cannot outlive, protection from inflation, and a tax-efficient plan that keeps more of your money where it belongs, in your hands. That is exactly what we help people do. If this video helped you, you might like to read a free booklet called For Those Who Want to Prosper and Thrive in Retirement. Check out the link in the description box to get that free information. And if this video helped you see your retirement plan in a new way, please hit that like button and subscribe to Retirement Security Simplified. Drop a comment below and tell me, which of these 5 hidden risks surprised you the most? I'd love to hear from you. I'll see you in the next video. This is Retirement Security Simplified, where we specialize in turning confusion into confidence, one conversation at a time.